All right, everybody, Bodie with OCD Customs here. Just did a video on our in-depth review of our different chassis options, and I wanted to do another video on this TYPHON in particular because this one uses Treal Capra axles, as you can see here. The biggest difference, well, let me get started by saying that this TYPHON was designed, this kit was designed to use Rhino RC axles. Everything from the skid to the links to the mounting locations on the chassis, it was designed for Rhino RC Capra axles. The problem with that, well, it's great because we wanted to design something that we could say, this is the formula to do it. If you want yours to be just like ours, here's how you need to do it. And that's that. You will have a killer rig just like what we built here. We didn't want any secrets. We just wanted us to be able to help everyone with a particular formula of a build so that you could make one just like the one we had originally built. That one is over here, right there on the shelf. So the difference being Capra axles is that you have to figure it out yourself. I had to figure it out myself with this one because it was a little bit different. I had not realized it was going to be different. I thought it was going to be almost exactly the same. But the biggest thing that I had failed to realize is that the Capra Treal axles have a center front diff. The Rhino Capra axles have an offset front diff, and we had actually designed the skid to mount the transmission in a way that was meant for a offset front diff. The problem with that is that the original holes for this skid to line the transmission up, make this straight, make the motor straight in the front, make it look all nice and pretty. And that is because if my diff is here being centered, but it's over here being offset, it makes the drive shaft be a straight shot right into the diff. When I started putting this together, I had realized that I had the transmission straight in the original holes, and I realized my front drive shaft was not going to work because it was going to hit the motor. So your only options there are either to run a extremely stubby motor, so that is out of the way of the transmission to keep this straight, or you could punch another hole in the skid plate to cock the transmission to the left as far as you can, being my motor is as far that way as I can to clear the front drive shaft. Drill a hole, mount this. Within doing that, now your carrier needs to be cocked the opposite direction. So now my carrier is rocked that way just a smidge, and it still lines up with the rear drive shaft just fine. We do have this little coupler deal here so that instead of running two carriers or one carrier in the back and having to have your rear axle pitched way up to get the pinion up to meet the carrier, instead we've just had one carrier right off of the skid that allows you to just run the drive shaft right along the links, and it's all out of the way nice and tight. So I just wanted to do a quick little video on that. One other thing that I will go over while we're here is the way that I have set up my unicorn mount. So some on our original TYPHON build, I will show you here, we weren't sure the unicorn mount was going to work. The cool part is that if you're willing to use our unicorn mount, the brace for the bottom has two holes on it on each side to keep it flat. But on a build like this with the Rhino axles, the way the link setup is made, you don't really have any room to mount your unicorn mount across the bottom like I did on my other one. This one, let's take a step back. If you want to run hood stacks on your TYPHON, you basically have to do it like this because the hood stacks are only so tall. This way that we did it was we ran one screw through each side So in theory, if you take a hard hit, this can get moved, but if you make your screws tight and use Loctite, you got to take a very hard hit. And the worst thing that can happen is it can just get pushed. It's not going to damage anything. So that is the way that you could run it in a situation like this. But I wanted to show this other way that we had figured out. If you are not going to be running hood stacks, I have a 2-inch stud in my bottom part for the unicorn mount. And the perk to this option is when I used the Treal axles, my front upper links are down a lot farther and out of the way than on the Rhino, which that's another good point. This build being on Treal axles still uses the Rhino links. The back is set up exactly the same. The front is just set up a little bit differently. I did have to use Traxxas extended rod ends on both sides of the bottom link, but the top link I left with the short rod ends from Hardcore. So the perk to this is that now I've got both of my screws holding this on so it can't move forward or back, but it's down far enough where you could not use hood stacks because they're not going to be sticking up far enough. So in this build, I've just got the unicorn mount like that. So I just wanted to show everyone that quick little thing and talk to you about the Treal axle application that I had to adjust. The biggest thing with this is it's designed specifically to run Rhino axles, and that certain formula using our Rhino axles, the Reefs XP-T3 transmission, and the little carrier piece made by Rhino RC, as well as that little tiny coupler as well. So if you are interested in building an OCD TYPHON, please look at the description. On the TYPHON, I have listed that it is made to run Rhino Capra axles as well as using the Reefs transmission. If you have questions on which carrier piece and which coupler piece we use, please feel free to reach us on email or Facebook Messenger. So I just wanted to do a quick little video for that so that everyone could get some knowledge. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.